Most of you are here now. Let's go ahead and get started. And I'd like to invite our presenter today to Dr. Connie Sung, if you can turn on your webcam. And to those of you who just joined us, good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar, Unlocking Potential of Autistic Youth, a strength-based approach to empowering employment readiness through ASSET and EPASS. My name is Karina and I'm your host for this event, and it's great to have you all today. And I have the distinct pleasure of introducing today's speaker, Dr. Connie Sung. And Dr. Connie Sung is a professor at Michigan State University. Dr. Sung's research focuses on developing and evaluating community-based interventions for advancing career development and improving a psychosocial adjustment of autistic individuals. She has authored over 90 publications and secured more than 20 million in research funding. Her work involves global collaborations extending to European, Asian, and African countries. And Dr. Sung's efforts are recognized globally, including presentations at the United Nations General Assembly's Science Summit. So with that, I'm going to hand things over to Connie. Go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much, Karina. It's an absolute pleasure today to share with you all some of the work that we have done with and also for individuals with autistic with individuals. So the topic is Unlocking Potential of Autistic Youth, a strength-based approach to empowering employment readiness through ASSET and EPASS. And I'm one of the presenters, my co-presenter, Katie Kind. Unfortunately, we were at a conference together last week, and she came down with a really ill, so she won't be able to make it today with us for the presentation. I was really hoping she could share her journey and how she was able to unlock her potential. However, Katie is more than happy if individuals would like to reach out and learn about her experience after the presentation. So my name is Connie Sung. I use she and her pronoun. In today's presentation, I'm going to share some of the statistics, and I promise I won't be overwhelm you with a lot of numbers, but it's just some of the important statistics that why it's important for us to use strength-based approach and also tap into different kind of employment-related training to help autistic individuals reach their potential. And I will also introduce two of the programs that myself and my research team have developed in the past decade. The first one is Assistive Soft Skills and Employment Training, which stands for ASSET, that we are hoping the program will be able to help individuals to become assets to different companies and businesses. And the second program, we call it Employment Preparation and Skills Support, which stands for EPASS. So basically is a path to get into the employment door. So I'm going to talk about, first of all, based on a 2017 study, it has shown different outcomes of autistic individuals, including the employment and also their health and mental health. So based on the report, the National Autism Indicators report, it shows about 14% of autistic individuals had a paid job in the community, working in the community for different paid employment. And 42% were in unpaid activities in facilities, including like volunteering in like day programs, etc. And 27% had no work or activities in the in different community or facilities-based settings, which is really concerning because the number is significantly lower than individuals with other type of disabilities, let alone the people without disabilities. And as we know, getting an employment, being employed in an integrated settings is not only about a paycheck, but it has a lot more than that, a lot more meaning than just a paycheck, including the social interaction, the sense of belonging, the sense of contribution. So employment has a direct relationship with people's physical health and employment and mental health. So according to the report, about 51% of individuals had co-occurring health conditions, and 54% have co-occurring mental health conditions, and 64% of them took medication or other treatment to treat their mental health condition. So with that, I'm going to talk about why the research that I do and the work that I do with different community stakeholders, businesses focus on breaking the cycle. So as I mentioned earlier, employment or the other way to think about it is unemployment or underemployment has a lot of negative impact on self-efficacy. If somebody is unemployed, they may start have self-doubt. They may not have the belief in themselves that they could do certain things, and that lead to the social isolation and poor mental health, and also no income, health benefits, lack of independence, and lower quality of life. So how do we break this cycle? Several ways to do it is to improve their different skills and abilities, finding opportunities that match their interests to help them recognize some of the strengths that they have, what they can do instead of focusing on what they cannot do, and helping individuals to build their confidence, having the self-efficacy. And through employment opportunities that not only could increase the confidence, have them apply the skills, getting into something that they're interested in doing, that will also lead to better mental health outcome and quality of life. So to start with, why focus on ASSET? So according to different studies, soft skills is a very important skills for all individuals, and 63% of all jobs will be soft skills incentive by 2030. And 92% of executives say that soft skills are equally important or more important than the technical skills, which sometimes people refer to hard skills. And 89% of executives say that it is difficult to find people with good soft skills. And according to the recent Department of Labor statistics, over 95% of jobs that are calling it as essential skills as part of the soft skills. And we also have seen in the studies is many of individuals struggle or have difficulty maintaining their employment or obtaining the employment is due to the soft skills instead of the hard skills. So that's one of the main reasons that we focus on the soft skills intervention. And I'm going to play a short video to introduce what soft skills are and what ASSET is, and some of the program participants who have gone through the program speak a little bit about it, and then I will go more in depth to describe what the program is really all about. Oops. Here. My name is Connie Sung, and I'm an associate professor in rehabilitation counseling at Michigan State University. I'm also the co-director of the STRIDE Center, which stands for Services, Training, and Research for Independence and Desired Employment. I initially trained as an occupational therapist, and I received training in rehabilitation psychology. And I found the transition age, youth, is the most interesting, exciting, but also challenging period that I want to focus on. The things that really inspire me to start creating a training program on soft skills, according to the Department of Labor, over 90% of people, they lose their job because of soft skills, not because of hard skills. A lot of people will ask what's the difference between hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills basically is very job specific. Like if I'm a programmer, I know how to like do the coding, how to do the programming. But soft skills is more the interpersonal skills, how people interact and navigate a social situation in the workplace. Soft skills is always taken for granted that when you grow up, you start working, you know how to interact with people in the workplace. But that is not the case for a lot of the people, even without disabilities. We believe that is something that is trainable, that they can learn, they can get better, and help them to keep their jobs.
I have learned soft skills that are important to employers, such as networking, communication skills, teamwork, critical thinking, and analytical skills.
I've become more social in the workplace, more professional, and have learned many lessons that will help me. If you want to improve your soft skills, join this program. You will not regret it.
During the pandemic, a lot of people find it really difficult because some people feeling like isolated, they're working remotely from home. We have worked with 4 different school districts to implement it virtually. We provided support for students to engage in those kind of activity in a virtual format, and technical support to make sure they can get online. And also we make modification to the curriculum to make sure some of the things that we implement in person could be also adapted for the virtual format.
My name is Hongjin Kuo. I'm currently assistant professor in rehabilitation counseling program, and my involvement with the program is I manage the technology deployment and implementation. Some of the challenges that we face is the individual that we serve not necessarily have the skill to access technology.
Over the past 5 to 6 years, we realized that soft skills training is very important. We started funded by the Department of Defense. They have a training program specifically focused on autism research. After that, we were able to receive funding from the Institute for Educational Sciences.
As of now, we are serving individuals with autism spectrum disorder and other developmental disability, but down the road, we can expand it to different disability types and then to different population. The reason why we integrate technology in this program is that we want to enhance the accessibility for individual disability across different areas. The way we try to make it all-in-one technology and integrate that with our learning material is we want to allow more flexibility. Technology nowadays, there are a lot of variety, and sometimes that variety can really be confusing to individuals. And we try to streamline it so that you can use just one platform and you can get help from there, you can get learning material from there, and you can practice from there. Everybody can use soft skill training.
So that was just a brief video to illustrate what ASSET is and how we integrate some of the technology to make it more accessible and reachable for individuals, all individuals, including autistic individuals. Oops. Okay, so in the video, we kind of mentioned ASSET, Assistive Soft Skills and Employment Training, is a manualized, group-based, or individualized training program for individuals with disabilities. So we started with the autistic individual population when we received the funding from the Department of Defense. And within the program, we have covered a variety of topics. And how we came up with the topics, we started with the skills to pay the bills that was introduced by the Department of Labor, the OSAP department. And we have invited different stakeholders, including special education teachers, transition coordinators, employers, individuals with disabilities, including autistic individuals, to help us understand what are some of the soft skills that are important at the workplace. So we have made a significant modification based on the skills to pay the bills manual and incorporated different topics that were deemed important, including disability awareness, self-efficacy, communication, attitude and enthusiasm, teamwork, networking, digital identity, problem solving and critical thinking, professionalism, time management, organization and planning, mental health and stress management, emotion recognition and regulation, awareness of self and others, making good impressions, and workplace relationships. And all of these topics It wasn't us, our research team came up. It was actually getting input through different focus groups, through different survey, and the community stakeholders let us know these are the things that typically they were not covered comprehensively in both community rehab organization or in school settings. As you heard in the video, we have collaborated with different school districts and also community partners. So we have 2 different program options for them to choose from. We started with a 90-minute, 15 session, and individuals will attend 1 session per week. But as we go, we were getting the feedback is soft skills is never too late to learn about it. So school would like to adopt the program into the school system. However, 90 minutes is really hard to carve it out from a daily school schedule. So we have another version that we created that go alongside with the 90-minute is only 50 minutes that will go well with the school structure, but it will 2 days a week and then last for 1 semester. So the content, they are pretty much very similar. It's just the pace. And we have also started doing some research in terms of the choice of the different options. What we have learned is certain individuals, they benefit from each time less content, but they have time to digest and learn about it. So for those with maybe higher support needs, they will benefit from a 50-minute version versus in the community setting or in clinical, even college settings, we have tested out the 90-minute work really well for them. So next, I would like to introduce EPASS. So, and then because the 2 programs are very similar in a way that we design it, we use a strength-based approach and a theory-driven. So EPASS, we call it is a sibling program for ASSET. Is after they learn about the social interaction, and then now when they need to go apply for a job, prepare for interview, how do they use it for getting the job? So the way that I conceptualize it is EPASS helping people to obtain employment and ASSET help people to maintain employment. So EPASS is a group-based and individualized training program focused on employment readiness skills, including identifying their career interests and goal setting, personal branding, informational interviewing, how to do search for jobs and submit job application, how do they build resume and cover letter, and how do they prepare for a job interview, have different job interview practices with the HR professionals, and disability disclosure and accommodation, when to disclose, what to disclose, how to request for accommodation at the different phase of the job search process, and also onboarding, managing paychecks, workplace etiquette, workplace hierarchy, and also work-life balance. So with EPASS, we've particularly focused on not only having like the helping professionals to help including myself to develop this. We actually have a team of HR professionals help to develop the content of the EPASS. So for example, in the personal branding, and also when they are in the job search, we have specific section related to personality test, or how do we use the problem-based interview questions. How do you answer problem-based interview questions? And also, how do we incorporate impression management techniques during the interviews? And again, as I mentioned about ASSET, we also have different options to accommodate the different needs of individuals when they go through the program, including the 50-minute session and also the 90-minute session. So the way that we develop the 2 programs, both ASSET and EPASS, we really they are really driven by the social cognitive career theory. So as I mentioned at the beginning is the confidence of the person, whether they believe in themselves, whether they can do it or not, is very important. And we have the theory is if somebody can believe that I can use the soft skills I learned to manage the social demands at work, then they will be more inclined to eager to learn the soft skills and getting good at it. and then they will want to do well at work and be successful in navigating the social situations. So we are basically the program, a lot of the components is driven by the SCCT, social cognitive career theory, to really amplify their self-efficacy and what is needed to get to where they want to be in terms of their personal goals. So we use the theory to develop both the ASSET and EPASS program. So in terms of the program structure, this is a group-based program primarily. We have tested out in community and school settings that's somewhere between 6 to 10 participants, and typically delivered by a facilitator. We have had teachers, counselors, employment specialists deliver it, because we have the menu, we have all the PowerPoint to go along with like videos and the digital platform. So we have gotten a lot of feedback in terms of how do we make it more practical and accessible through our research. And we also apply a combination of teaching strategies, as Michigan State is one of the Big Ten. We call it a Big Ten strategies, which I will be going more in depth. And we also developed the program, including the digital platform, using the guided by the Universal Design for Learning principles. So here are the Big Ten pedagogies that we have used. So in the program, we have the menu guiding the didactic portion of delivering the content, helping individuals building their skills. And we also incorporated different modeling techniques, and we have videos incorporated, and which spark a lot of different discussion. And we have different experiential activities, including less practice activity that they will need to do it within the session and outside of the session. We also have different role play, self-reflection. We have different kind of positive reinforcement and providing different performance feedback, not only by the facilitator, but we also encourage a lot of peer feedback in order to help the individuals to be more recognizing their strengths and also room for growth. And finally, we have different activities to help them generalizing some of the skills and knowledge that they learn during the session. So the way that we are implementing it both for ASSET and EPASS is they learn it, they practice it, and they recognize what are their strengths, what are their struggles, and how are they going to apply it in the real world settings. So in terms of the session structure, we use a lot of visuals and a lot of different handouts for the different activities. And in general, we start with an opening, including welcoming, recap, review, and the agenda. And then in the middle of the session, we have different warm-up activities, discussions, videos, and handouts. And then at the end, we have the group activities and wrap up and complete the less practice activity. And we also have the self-reflection, basically encouraging each individual in each session, identifying what they have learned, what are they good at in terms of the topic that they have learned, and what are some of the things that they could do to improve things that they see room for growth. And tell me what you remember is basically a short quiz to see how much they have learned during the session. And again, is input from the community partners is people don't like to hear the word homework, people don't like to hear the word quizzes, but how do we make it less intimidating as they are going through the program? So even like things like how we word things, we got a lot of input from the community. So speaking of community, the program truly have incorporated interdisciplinary expertise. So as we develop and also implement the program, we have involved expertise from rehab counseling, special education, occupational therapy, psychology, educational technology, and human resources. All of these disciplines, we work together to develop it so that we are coming from different angles. And we also have the community-based participatory research approach incorporated in the program development, design, and implementation. And they include like HR professionals, teachers, coordinators, parents, families, individuals who have the lived experience to help us refine the program to really make it practical and useful. And we also wrote the evaluation of the program in an implementation science framework. So in terms of the implementation, we got a lot of different suggestions from our community partners, what would be helpful. And as we know, a lot of the practitioners or educators, they are bombarded and overwhelmed with a lot of things that they have to do in their day-to-day job. So what we have learned from them is if we have the session that is really structured, have the instructions within the menu, and have the slides, videos all encompassed within the program, then typically the facilitator let us know it won't take them more than 30 minutes to prep it. They read through the menu, and each of the participant, they have a handout booklet and they have all the slides ready, so they are able to put more time into really facilitating the program session to help individuals learn, rather than trying to put different things together and piecemeal and without the standardization. So within the program, we have the session PowerPoint, the training manual for the facilitator. Basically, we have the different plan for the session, the handout booklet, program activity kit, and the training videos and the online platform. So we have collaborated with a range of different communities, including the schools and other community rehab organizations providing employment-related training. So here's is one of the partners that we have collaborated with, which is in the Upper Peninsula, in the Northern Michigan, which we know quite often they have very limited resources. So let's hear what they have to share about ASSET and EPASS.
At Marquette Algerisa, something remarkable is unfolding through implementation of programs developed by Michigan State University's Stride Center. We're paving the way for students with disabilities to achieve their dreams and career aspirations.
They get me more prepared for the future, which I'm gonna need if I want to graduate and get a job, like a good job.
Thanks to the pioneering curriculum developed by MSU and delivered by our trained Stride facilitator, our students are thriving, building essential skills every day.
Stride is divided into two sections. ASSET is our social skills, our people skills. So the main things that we talk about there are communication, teamwork. We talk about problem solving and critical thinking. We talk about positive attitude and enthusiasm, time management skills, professionalism. EPASS is more of our hard skills, where we focus on actually applying for a job, cover letters and resumes, interviews, so more of those hard skills to help students prepare for what's after high school.
Our teachers that have observed it, our aides that have observed it, and the students all seem to buy into this and think that it's a great program.
At Marquette Algerisa, these programs are more than courses. They are pathways to independence, crafted by MSU's Stride Center to foster confidence, communication, and career readiness.
I really like how she teaches it, how she makes it more fun, and she'll also explain what we should do in work environment, what we shouldn't do, and especially because I never had a job yet, it's really beneficial to me.
The success stories of our students are a testament to the power of partnership and the impact of expertly designed education on real lives.
So I think it's important for schools to get back to grabbing onto programs and curriculums that are teaching students those basic job skills and those soft skills that students need to make them successful after high school.
The ASSET program helps kids just be
ready to be employed. And I think it's really important.
Thanks to MSU Stride Center's guidance and our dedicated team at Marquette Elder Risa, we're not just preparing students for jobs, we're opening the doors to futures filled with possibilities. Discover more about how MSU's Stride Center
So I just want to highlight this program we have the intention to develop not only to help people getting a job or finding a job, more importantly is to help them finding the career pathway and excelling and reaching their potential, because we believe there are a lot of potential that people can bring to the table, can contribute to the society. Is how do we use the different tools to help them get there? And also the importance of partnership between university and also different community partners, how we can bring all of these to really translate what we do in our research projects to turn it into a more practical, translatable practices in the field. So right now, what we have done is we have implemented the program across different states in the United States, including Michigan, Illinois, Florida, California, and Louisiana. We also have done different translation into other language, including Slovak and Chinese. We have done different RCT, randomized control trial study to look at the impact and also the efficacy of the program, which I'm going to briefly talk about it next. So so far we have done 3 randomized control trials, 2 in the United States and 1 in Ireland. And what we have found is the first main finding is the program has improved the job-related skills for autistic individuals and also other individuals with disabilities. It significantly increased the job-related self-efficacy, helping individuals really recognize their strengths and also believe in themselves, in their ability to be more motivated and ready for employment. And it also showed a reduction in the support in behavioral performance on the job as they learn about the knowledge and the skills that they are able to apply and generalize in their real-world work setting. And the second category of findings that we have seen is, number one, we have seen improvement in the social functioning of participants and also improve in the mental health, particularly the anxiety, because many of the individuals we interview and also receive their surveys data is when they're not sure what to do, sometimes it's very anxiety provoking, but now they feel like they have the tools, they know how to respond, how to react in some of these social interaction situation. They feel a lot more ease in handling those situations. And we also have seen significant improvement in their adaptability and also resilience. And here is some of the qualitative findings that we heard from the participants. Participants mentioned the program helped them with the soft skills that often it's hard, we often forget, just try to catch up and develop hard skill what employees essentially want, so that the program helped both ASSET and EPASS help them to develop both the soft skills and the hard skills. And participants also mentioned communication, enthusiasm, and professionalism are the top 3 things that they learned from ASSET. And participant also mentioned that programs help them think about what kind of job they want to have and whether or not it pays, because that lead to a more career pathway beyond just having a job. And the employment readiness is helping them improve the ability to building and preparation for interviews, work well with others in job environment. And participants also mentioned the program. I'm going to try to keep in contact with people I have worked with, such as peers and teachers. And it's nice to be able to see how different personalities can work together. And participants also stress about the importance on of the program on the mental health. I'm not as stressed, and my smiling is more appropriate. And they also mentioned, I feel a little connected to the group members, and the activities help me feel connected to the group. So they don't feel like they are alone, and they have the sense of belonging and learning and helping each other to grow. And we also have feedback from the facilitator, including I could see the students every week becoming more comfortable socially. It's a group where that's not a strength for them, and they all had kind of admitted that, but I was able to see them each week really opening up and feeling more comfortable with interacting with each other, with me, with getting involved in activities and really having more conversations. And then another facilitator said, one of the things I like best is how applicable it is, and students were able to make that connection. The activities that we did and some of the information we talked about, they right away were making that connection. They could really see how this was important for them to know as far as getting a job. And finally is the teamwork that the facilitators are seeing. One student at the first, he was just worry about getting through the program and the material. Then he became a team player. He's saying in the classroom, you guys, we gotta go help with the chairs. Let's go and do it as a team. He's making that connection with other areas of his life about teamwork and working with others. So I think this is making an impact, because I don't know if he would have done it before. So some of those comments that we heard from the individuals really reinforce the importance of these soft skills and job employment readiness skills are teachable, and people can learn and grow from it. So we have had both programs actually aligned with the national career and technical education standards in order to help not only using the framework to help the program to be more aligned with the expectation from all 50 states at both the state level and the local level. When we first started developing the program, we didn't even think about that and how important it is. It was actually some of the administrators at the community rehab organization and also school settings saying, if we could have it connect with some kind of standards and matrix, it would be so much easier for them to implement it and embed it as part of their program or their curriculum. So as I mentioned earlier, the program, when we develop it, is grounded in the social cognitive career theory. When we evaluate it, we also ground it in the REAIM framework. So basically, we have been asking ourselves as we develop the program is, how do we reach the target population? In this case, for ASSET and EPASS, we have done it within the autistic community, and then we also have done it with the intellectual developmental disabilities population. We also have specifically piloted with individuals with traumatic brain injury. And right now, one of our projects actually is working with justice-involved youth because a lot of time they have the hidden disabilities or undiagnosed disabilities. So we're piloting those through research to see the impact of the program. And we do different studies to look at the intervention, whether they are effective, and how do we adopt it across different organizations and institutions, and how do we get support from different institutions. And so with that, we work very closely with different community partners and stakeholders, helping us understand, for example, the national standard is one of the examples. We love the program, but how do we get buy-in from people who have not seen the program or know the program as well? So we really try to take in as much as feedback and input as possible. And we also evaluate the program from different aspects, including the vocational and psychosocial, and of course from a multidisciplinary approach. So perfect. So here is all the articles that we have published related to the study, how we develop the study and how we evaluate the study. So I know the organizer have the copies of some of these studies. So if you're interested, please feel free to reach out, and we are happy to share with you a copy of it. And I believe everybody have access to a copy of the slides of today's presentation. So you will have the list with you in case you want to request for a certain article. So here it's my contact information, and I also put Katie's information here in case you want to reach out to her. And Katie sent her apology for not being able to be with us and co-presenting on this, but she's more than happy to answer any questions. And same for me, my email is csung@msu.edu. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. So I think we thank you everybody for listening to the presentation, and I will leave the next 15 minutes for questions and answer. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Thank you, Connie, for your presentation. So just as a reminder, you're going to look for that questions box in the GoToWebinar control panel and type those questions in there while we've got the time. And we do have a question from Coach Maureen, and she's saying, I am presenting at a conference next week, Neurodiversity for Career Development Professionals. Her question is, how much do these programs cost? I mean, I think those two were related. Sorry, Coach Maureen, if I got that wrong. Did that make sense?
Yes. So that's a great question. I always joked about when it's about statistics, those numbers I'm really good at. But whenever you put a dollar sign in front of the number, I'm terrible at it. So what I will do is, if you don't mind emailing me, and then I will get you in touch with our partner, Co-Grounded, and they are the one who will be able to give you the information about the cost.
Okay, thank you. Next question, how can we offer this program in our area?
Area meaning?
I'm assuming wherever they are located.
Okay, so that's a really great question. So currently we have an in-person version and a virtual version. As I mentioned, we have a digital platform. So depending on what you're asking, is in person or virtual, we will have different information that we can share with you. And again, we have partnered with Co-Grounded, which is an educational organization helping with these type of program dissemination, and they will have different options. And the good news is right now we are trying to recruit different partners to help us pilot that digital platform. So if you're interested in being one of our partners to do the piloting, like if you're thinking about doing it virtually, or even in person, we would love to talk to you more about it.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so I think someone was asking also, maybe specifically for California, who can I contact for more info?
So I'm glad you asked that. We actually did a pilot with California when during the pandemic. I have people from California reached out. The CCI is California Career Innovation. So because at the time it was really hard, actually I have to thank them. Thank the partner is they asked, oh, you have this in person, but we are in the middle of the pandemic. What do? We need we need something for our individuals. So we actually collaborated and worked together to develop that virtual format that we were able to deliver it all through online Zoom platform. And we have gotten like really good feedback that we were able to modify it to make it more sustainable. So again, please email me and I will be able to connect you with the organization that is helping with like disseminating the program.
Okay, and then we have a question from Brooke. Does the university offer any free resources related to these topics or co-grounded? I work as a coach for autistic adults and I'm always looking for resources.
Just to clarify, when you mention about resources, meaning like webinar type resources or document type resources, or what kind of resources are you looking for?
All right, well, I'll get back to that when Brooke has a chance to respond. All right, Coach Maureen, any organization, academic institution here in Massachusetts?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Any organization or academic institution in Massachusetts?
In terms of collaborating or in terms of implementing?
I believe that's the, I believe that's it. And so we'll see, yeah. Oh, and she's saying one that has been piloted. So does that kind of add more?
We haven't piloted it in Massachusetts, but if any academic institution is interested in partnering or organization want to pilot in Massachusetts, I'm more than happy to do that. So, for example, Kessler Foundation in New Jersey, they have a pretty big number of population that they serve. We actually have a collaboration right now piloting it in New Jersey, specifically for individuals with traumatic brain injury. So if people are interested in piloting and testing it out, please reach out. I'm more than happy to have conversation about that.
Great. So getting back to Brooke's initial question about the resources, she's referring to, I just saw it. There it is. Educational to use with clients.
So we have different, for if it's program specific, I forgot to mention, actually is a really good question. We actually have a guide specifically developed for family members, and then a guide specifically developed for providers, including like job coaches. How do we reinforce some of these things that they learn in the program when they apply in their work-based learning or in the community doing some of these work? And if that's what you're asking about the program specific, in terms of other resources, we have different resources in terms of materials. It depends on what you're looking for in like audience. Is it autistic individuals or is it for providers? So we have different things. If you, and again, I'm sorry, because it's really hard to tell you all and share with you all what we have. If you could reach out, I promise we will get back to you with and provide you with what you need and information.
Okay. A question from Brianna. You mentioned you started your career in this field initially pursuing occupational therapy. I'm curious if you ever completed this career path along with your research. How did your career path change or develop?
Oh, I love this question. So I started as an occupational therapist, and I actually work with a wide spectrum of people in terms of age range. So I literally work with people, work with toddler all the way through elderly with different kind of disabilities in terms of like developmental disabilities, neurological, psychiatric, physical. But within that, I mostly work in medical settings. So what I have learned is in medical setting, like hospital type settings, when we are looking at all of these from a pathological or medical angle, sometimes we miss out a lot about what the person, once they leave the medical setting or hospitals, how are they going to adjust it to their work life? How do they adjust to their family? How do they adjust and like socialize with friends? So then I started wanting to learn more about the psychology of it. So then I pursue my PhD in rehabilitation psychology, and I want to study overseas. So I decided to go to. I grew up in Hong Kong. It never snow. If it ever snow, the entire city will shut down. Nobody will be on the street. But I decided to go to one of the the cold state, Wisconsin, Madison, and I pursue my PhD in rehab psychology. And during my training in rehab psychology, I have particular interest in the transition age individuals because what I have learned is the systems, the two systems, education systems and the vocational system, number one, they don't communicate. They don't talk to each other. They don't really know what each other does, and it's pretty broken. So then a lot of times these transition age individuals just fall through the cracks. And I have parents telling me is, I want my kid growing up not to transition from school to my basement. I want them to transition to a productive life and contributing to the society. And so that really made me wonder, what can I do to some of those? So then I started my research interest in like beyond being inspired by problems, right? There are a lot of issues that we have to solve. Let's come up with some solutions. And one of the ways is develop different interventions and programs that people find it useful. And as a researcher, I admit, like, we as academia researchers really need to do a better job producing things that is not just archived in the library, but we need to make those to be disseminated into the community so that they can make good use of those things that we develop. And that was part of the reason why I collaborated with the educational organization. Is I'm not very good at disseminating this, like I mentioned, but they are very good at it. So how about we create a partnership, and I can tap into what I'm good at, they tap into what they're good at, so that people can really get access and to some of these programs that we develop. So it's a long-winded answer, but how I switch my career is every time when I run into roadblocks, when I run into different issues, I just want to solve it. And in order for me to solve it, I see the value of the interdisciplinary training, which embedded into my training is like I had the perspective as an OT, I have a perspective as a psychologist, and now in my current job, I train counselors working with people with disabilities. Particularly, I focus on the autism, intellectual, and developmental disabilities. So to make good use of all the knowledge and skills that I could apply to it. And I love it when I work with these individuals. I still have, just last month, our very first cohort of ASSET participant, he knocked on my office door because he just want to come and tell me that he's still working in his current job and how much he appreciated. And I love it because it has been 10 years and he still remember all the fond memories and moments that we are learning together. So I'm
That's
gonna
great. I'm getting a lot of comments that are saying it's a really great story. Everyone loved hearing about that and about how you got to where you are. So
thank you.
I think we have time for 2 more questions. So we've got 2 last questions. Jessica, I am an RC grad student doing my internship with the state in January. I would love to be able to pilot this program in person during my internship. Is this something that would be feasible as a student?
So that's a great question. I actually got quite a bit of, first of all, thank you. I assume you said RC meaning rehab counseling. So that make me happy and excited. Second is reach out to me. I can share, because I do have some students who are doing practicum and internship and piloting some of the programs that we have developed. So I'm more than happy to support that. I just stepped down this month. I was actually a former program director for the RC program at MSU.
Wonderful. Last question. Hi, this is from Adam. Hi, Dr. Sung. Thank you for the presentation. What age range are these programs for, and what would you recommend for someone around 30 struggling to get a job?
That's an excellent question. I'm glad you asked, because when I mentioned about transition age, we actually have individuals started with 14. And then because Michigan is unique, we have individuals up to 26 to be in the school. So we initially do that between 14 to 26. However, again, getting input and feedback from the community is people who are beyond 26 could also benefit from the program. So in the past 3 years, we actually have expanded the program to individuals who are around 30-ish to be part of, and we have seen great outcomes. So to answer the question, like whether individuals in that age range would benefit, according to our research, yes, it does. But I don't know where you're currently located, whether the, and again, I need to consult Co-Grounded because they're the expert in terms of the program implementation and dissemination in the actual community. And when I receive questions from you guys, I will definitely connect with Co-Grounded to make sure we have these resources for individuals.
Great. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up today. And I want to thank you, Connie, for your wonderful presentation. And thanks to everyone else who has joined us. And, you know, just still seeing lots of comments saying they're grateful, they're excited, and they've been inspired. So a lot of good stuff there. So this concludes our fall 2024 webinar series. And if you're interested in watching any of OER's past webinars, we encourage you to check out the webinar recordings on our website. You can find these by navigating to OER's homepage and under the Get Involved tab, select Webinar Series. So once you close out of this event, you'll receive an exit survey, and we would appreciate if you could complete that and provide your feedback. Everyone will receive a follow-up email with their certificate of attendance today. And on behalf of the Organization for Autism Research, thank you again, Connie. And thanks to our audience for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.